With breaking news happening now, this is Wave News.
And let's get to that breaking news this morning. St. Matthews Police Chief says that they have a person in custody after a patient shot inside of Baptist Health this morning.
No one was hurt. And Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is live off Kresge Way in Breckenridge Lane with details on this. Kirsten, what have we learned?
Yeah, they say that that patient fired 4 shots in her room this morning. That's coming from St. Matthews Police. Now I'll step out of the way and show you a little bit of the scene here. It is starting to clear out a little bit. We just heard from LMPD. They said that their crews are clearing out from here, that St. Matthews Police will be handling this investigation. Traffic is still pretty backed up along Kresge Way, where we are outside of Baptist East Hospital. Now, Chief Barry Wilkerson with St. Matthews Police says that that patient fired 4 shots and no one was hurt. He says that the patient was confined to her bed and that officers are in contact with her now. Again, no threat to the public. It was a very active scene when we got here. It still is pretty active, but we are seeing law enforcement clear out of the way as these new details come out. So again, they're saying that there is no threat to the public. That patient was inside their room firing shots. Not sure what led up to that, what those circumstances look like. Of course, we're calling law enforcement officials, trying to get more information about what led up to this morning. But again, I do say that there is no threat to the public. Shannon, Olivia, back to you.
Thank you, Kirsten. Of course, a lot of people concerned about that, asking what is going on when you see all of those police cars racing down. But again, no active aggressor. So sharing that with you.
And we'll continue to follow that throughout the day as more details come out. But we're also keeping a close eye on the weather because we do have an alert day in the forecast.
Yeah, we are watching tomorrow for that potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms. But for today, what we are dealing with, just a lot of these clouds overhead and some drizzle here and there. And while the radar is showing a little bit of that drizzle trying to show up in parts of Trimble and Carroll counties, if I make the radar more sensitive, you see that that drizzle does stretch from near Madison all the way towards portions of the metro and down towards Litchfield. Now, anything that we have this morning will be very, very light. The wind, that is going to be more of an impactful thing for your morning commute because right now we are seeing a lot of these wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. And with the southwesterly wind, it doesn't matter if you're traveling on a north-south road or an east-west road, you will feel the push. We get into the afternoon, though, things do calm down with the wind, and we'll even see some of these clouds overhead clearing out. Your temperatures right now, very warm for this time of the year. We're talking upper 50s and low 60s. We get into the afternoon, we're going to be climbing into the mid to upper 60s for your highs, as I mentioned, as those clouds move out. Then we'll watch for some fog tomorrow morning. Ladies.
Thanks, Tawana. A former LMDC officer is now out of a job.
He pleaded guilty to inappropriate and aggressive contact from an incident with an inmate in 2024. A lawsuit says former corrections officer Chase Branson tased and slammed Joseph Cortina into a door at LMDC. Cortina had been arrested at the airport for intoxication. After an FBI task force investigation, Branson was charged with assault, official misconduct, and placed on leave at LMDC. The lawsuit says video evidence found there was no justification for his actions, and Cortina's lawyers worried Branson will find a new job in law enforcement.
That is a misdemeanor. Under Kentucky law, that can be expunged. And so that means that it can be wiped off his record as if it never existed. Right now, there is nothing that prevents him from going to another jail, even a police department, if they will hire him and wearing a badge in some capacity.
We reached out to LMDC to get an official comment on Branson's guilty plea and resignation, but have not heard back.
Mayor Craig Greenberg says it was a tragic accident that led to the death of a Louisville woman involving a Metro garbage truck. Mayor Greenberg said it appeared crews did not see 35-year-old Tyra Adams while they were doing a routine cleaning of the alley on Cedar Street. They thought they were picking up trash and moving it to another location. Adams later died at the hospital. Police confirmed Adams was hurt after, quote, coming into contact with equipment on a garbage truck. Adams' family attorney is asking for any video that could have recorded spots close to where the incident happened last week. The attorney for Adams' family sent us a statement saying our investigation has revealed that the Public Integrity Unit has reached no conclusions as of yet, nor have we, because we're still investigating this incident. She says anyone with information about the case can call her office directly. That number is in this article on wave3.com.
This morning, LMPD says it will release more information about the impact Glock switches are having on the community. These devices can transform a semi-automatic handgun into a fully automatic machine gun. LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey said he supports a bill in Frankfurt to ban these devices. And today the department will show how the dangerous devices can work during a demonstration at 10:30. We'll bring you more details later on Wave News.
This morning, people continue to reflect on the legacy of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. Central Presbyterian Church hosted a service to honor Jackson's life and contributions to civil rights and social justice last night. Jackson made multiple trips to Louisville during his life. He fought against injustice after the Louisville police killing of Desmond Rudolph in 1999. 21 years later, he spoke out against the police killing of Breonna Taylor. Simmons College President Kevin Cosby says he developed a personal friendship with Jackson.
I was so in awe of him because he's iconic. I mean, he's a part of the civil rights pantheon of great change agents. And so I was greatly intimidated being in his presence at first, but then I realized he was just a down-to-earth, jovial kind of person, you know?
Jackson was 84 years old. Funeral arrangements and a celebration of life are being planned in Chicago.
The University of Louisville is ending its management of the Early Learning Campus. U of L managed the ELC in partnership with Family Scholar House for over 17 years. It's an offered early childhood education to the children of U of L faculty, staff, and students. U of L says they decided to end the partnership because of budget concerns. The program will end June 30th of this year. The school says the Family Scholar House will now look for a new partner to continue their work. Let's go to Olivia taking a look at the roads.
And right now we have two reported crashes, one on Bardstown Road in Fern Creek, another one on the ramp from I-264 eastbound onto 71 North. Looks like two cars involved in that crash, and they are off to the left-hand shoulder. Not causing any traffic disruptions there, but certainly something to keep an eye on this morning. And looking ahead to the weekend, more work on the Kennedy Memorial Bridge is moving into its final phase of its expansion joint replacement project. Rolling roadblocks are coming to the bridge this weekend. The first round comes to the I-65 South lanes from Friday at 7 p.m. through Saturday at 6 p.m. Southbound I-65 traffic will be down to the right 2 lanes. The good news, though, the I-65 South to I-64 West ramp will reopen. The $6.9 million project is expected to be finished by the fall. And this morning, parts of I-64 eastbound will be closed for repairs. Starting at 9, crews will be shutting down the left lane from Hurstbourne Parkway to Blankenbaker Parkway. Crews will be working on filling the potholes there, and they hope to reopen everything by 3 o'clock this afternoon.
And still ahead, one of the most intense Winter Olympic sports has become really popular in the U.S. We're talking about hockey.
We'll show you how one local hockey club is setting kids up for greatness.
Rescue crews in northern Nevada and California are racing against the clock, looking for some skiers who were caught in an avalanche. Calls about the avalanche came in around 11:30 on Tuesday morning. Officials say 15 backcountry skiers were out for an overnight trip. Yesterday was their scheduled departure day. It's not clear whether they were trying to travel home during the storm, but at least 6 of the skiers have been found. 9 others are still missing.
Well, right now, the interstate's closed because of zero visibility. They're reaching the site. We're sending rescue workers in from a couple different locations so that we can attempt to get in there. It's going to be slow going. We have brought in snowcats. We have snowmobilers on standby. We have individuals on skis. So we have several different ways that people are attempting to get in there.
We expect to get an update on their efforts later this morning.
But things calm here for now until we have that alert day tomorrow.
So get ready for the active weather coming for tomorrow. But even most of your Thursday, not looking too bad. But for today, which is Wednesday, I have to keep reminding myself, we are keeping an eye on the system marching towards us. And as it pushes towards the area, we do see a little bit more of those light showers and drizzle in our forecast. As of right now, we're mainly just dealing with the clouds overhead, and that is it. Seeing some of that drizzle showing up in portions of Trimble, Carroll, and Henry counties. We're looking into New Albany right now, where you certainly see those winds whipping the flags around, and the wind still strong, gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour in most spots. These gusty winds will remain throughout the morning, but as we head into the afternoon, the wind does calm down with some of those wind gusts still between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Let's talk about your temperatures. Because of that southerly wind, because of the clouds overhead, we are warm this morning. In fact, we are warmer than our average highs for this time of the year. Usually our highs for this time of the year are in the mid to upper 40s. We're currently sitting in the upper 50s and the low 60s. So that kind of shows you how abnormal all of this is. We do look to climb into the mid to upper 60s for your afternoon highs, so getting even warmer later on today. Watching for some of that drizzle around for the morning hours, and then we'll be drier heading into the afternoon and evening as clouds begin to clear. And it's those clearing skies that will really allow us to see some more of that fog for tomorrow morning. So yet another foggy morning on the way. We'll watch that fog developing after midnight and continue to build through sunrise tomorrow. This could be locally dense. So that's a trend that we have to watch pretty closely. Once we get past that, we are focused in on the rain chances. By about lunch tomorrow, this is when we could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms moving through areas along and south of the parkways. Now, the question is, will we get sunshine? Will we see clouds able to clear enough for the midday time frame on your Thursday for us to warm up to near 70? Because if we get that sunshine, if the atmosphere is able to destabilize, then that sets up really that potential for a little bit more of those stronger storms getting into your Thursday evening. We're really watching that 7 p.m. through 2 a.m. time frame for the better potential for some of these strong to severe storms. It will not be storming in every location for that entire time, just to be clear. But some of these storms could really be impactful as they move through. In fact, we do have a slight risk of severe weather out for those of you north of the parkways, a marginal risk further to the south, damaging winds, the main concern. But we do have to closely watch that potential for some hail and even an isolated tornado as those storms move on through. Friday, quiet, a mix of sun and clouds. And then we head into the weekend. We have to keep an eye on a system moving through our area as we get towards Saturday and Sunday. The track of this low will be key to what we see this weekend, because it could mean that potential for some rain and snow for parts of your Saturday and Sunday, or it could mean that we see absolutely nothing over the weekend. So a lot to watch for the end of the weekend. The weekend, as of right now, it still looks like either way it is going to be chilly for the weekend, with those highs returning to the 30s by Sunday, and then we'll be chilly to start off next week with a little bit of a warm up and more thunderstorms trying to come our way by next Wednesday and Thursday.
All over the place, huh?
All over. Yeah, we don't know what's going on. We're just on a roller coaster.
Season is it? All right. Few sports moments have lived in the collective American mind like the miracle on ice at the 1980 Winter Olympics. That was a clash between Russia and the U.S., leading to a major upset. Hockey fans may argue could not have happened in any other sport.
Now, fast forward to 2026, and international hockey rivalries drive the world's top talent. Wave News anchor Jose Zazaya suited up and met with those who instruct kids as young as toddlers and guide them to greatness.
It's music to my ears. It's the best. There's nothing better than organized chaos out here for the young kids.
And as with an orchestra, it also takes a lot of players to make this hockey melody of motion. Moms and dads help their kids tape their knees and tie their laces. A quick helmet check, done. Safety first before they glide onto the ice at Iceland Complex and start their latest training session under the guidance of the Kentucky Amateur Ice Hockey Association, KAHA for short.
A lot of the coaches around here right now are parent coaches who have been playing a lot of their lives.
Coaches and leaders like KAHA President Neil Hoover trace their love of hockey back to when they were as young as these under 8 and under 10 skaters, or even younger. In Hoover's case, another skating sport opened the door in his youth.
Actually, outdoor roller skating, inline hockey was the big craze back in the 90s. And from there, just a lot of buddies of mine were into it, so I just jumped into ice hockey and played for years.
KAHA's also recruited former U of L college talent to their ranks, like Clark Absher, who tells me it helps with a sport with a loyal following like this also becomes a family affair.
I've had 2 daughters that have played hockey and enjoy that, and still just, love the game and want to see it keep growing in the city.
Derby City's had a taste of high-level hockey before. The years Absher remembers cheering on for the now defunct Louisville River Frogs, who are currently the ECHL minor league Cincinnati Cyclones. In talking about an overall mission to grow hockey regionally, Absher and the KAHA Brain Trust have recruiting tools at their disposal. One is encouraging newbies to go check out a live game.
If you go to a game, whether that's a professional game, a collegiate game, I think that can get you, really into the game of hockey itself. It's fast-paced, it's a little cold, but everybody loves being out here, seeing a good hit, seeing a great goal. It's something that I think everyone should experience, and we have opportunities for all ages to be able to do that.
2 would look like KAHA's approach with the Little Ice Cards program for boys and girls as young as 3 and 4. Group Vice President Roger Wallen knows the value firsthand of starting that young, but it helps to have your ice legs ready. Because KAHA shares spaces with our friends at Louisville Skating Academy, the little athletes can get the foundation they need.
To continue on with that, that's really where the love for the game starts, when they start learning the fundamentals.
Wallen says the organization also looks to the model USA Hockey has rolled out to grow the sport on a national level. And that is also required branching out to pools of new players who have different life experiences.
They say hockey is for everybody, and we mean it at USA Hockey. So in addition to this, little programs like the Little Ice Cards, up to disabled hockey, blind hockey, women's hockey, that kind of thing. We really stand by that and we invite everyone to come out at any given moment and try the sport.
And this day, they meant that literally. Roger and Neil helped suit up yours truly, an untrained rookie, to see how I would fare on the ice. Nowhere near the speed and dexterity of the talented kids down the rink, coached by the pleasantly surprised Canadian transplant to Louisville, Peter Skinner.
I was surprised moving down here. I didn't think there'd be much hockey coming down this far south for me, but it's pretty popular, and there's a lot of good leagues around here.
Still, Skinner and the coaches left a few training exercises out there I could try, and I felt confident I could get the hang of it. Then I learned why hockey forges some of the toughest guys and girls out there.
Your arm okay?
You kind of.
I think so.
Hey, go like this with your hand. Make sure your hand's all right.
I'd say, Roger, did it look worse than it was?
I could tell when you put your arm up.
So not a bad 15 minutes out on the ice. Could be worse, since the pros who represent their countries at the Olympics are much better at taking checks.
Of course, you're always a national pride, and you want USA to pull out the gold.
You'll watch the passion and the intensity and the speed of the game, and such a great sport. So watch the Olympics, that'll get you hooked, and just come in and try it.
And even if not every little ice card reaches these international heights, the KAHA crew hopes the athletes can carry this core value.
It teaches you how to rely on team and how they rely on you. And I think those are skills that are going to be with you through life and are always going to help you get to that next level.
So after the Olympics, they're also gearing up for a local competition on home ice, the Kentucky High School Hockey Tournament in early March. Any parents whose kids want to give it a try, the Little Ice Cards program is taking new athletes, and you can find information in the article along with the process on wave3.com. It is such an intense game.
Yeah, Jose did pretty well, for not someone who's a professional ice skater.
Yeah, and it's not just being on the ice and playing the game, but learning how to skate in the first place is hard enough.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Bourbon and Beyond, who is going to be there this year?
We have details about their kickoff party and this year's lineup that'll be released today. That's next. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is scheduled to testify in Los Angeles today in a lawsuit brought by a woman and her mother. The now 20-year-old claims Instagram and YouTube purposefully designed features on their platforms to be addictive to young users. She says she became addicted as a child and it harmed her mental health. Zuckerberg is no stranger to being grilled. 2 years ago, he apologized to grieving parents who said social media contributed to their children's deaths. But that was in front of the Senate, and this time he'll have to convince a jury. We've learned more about a special announcement Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear teased on social media. In a post on X this morning, Governor Beshear says he's releasing a book. It'll be called Go and Do Likewise. The book is expected to be released in September on the 22nd. In a previous post, the governor said he had been working on the project for a while, and he said he hopes it can bring people together.
Mardi Gras celebrations have come and gone now, and now it's get ready for fasting ahead of the Lenten season, which begins today. For Ash Wednesday, a local church has a drive-through option from 11:30 to 2 today, and from 5 to 6 p.m. you can go through the drive-through line in car or on foot at St. Andrew United Church of Christ to receive the ashes. At 7 p.m. they will have an Ash Wednesday service, as many other churches will as well. This drive-through service is located on Browns Lane.
This year's festival lineup for Bourbon and Beyond 2026 will be announced during a kickoff party tonight. It'll be from 5 to 9 at the Whirling Tiger. The event is free, and you can enjoy special craft cocktails, live music, vintage festival merchandise, and giveaways. Bourbon and Beyond is set for September 24th through the 27th. Last year, Bourbon and Beyond combined with Louder Than Life drew an estimated more than 450,000 fans. It'll be exciting to see who is coming this year.
I know, can't wait. Okay, we'll be right back.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. We're following breaking news this morning. St. Matthews Police Chief says they have a person in custody after a patient inside Baptist Health fired off 4 shots. No one was hurt. Let's go to Kirsten Foote. She is live outside of the hospital with more. Kirsten?
Yeah, that's right, Shannon. St. Matthews Police says that the patient fired 4 shots in the hospital. Like you said, they say no one is hurt. Now, the scene I'll show you right here behind me, this is the hospital here. It's changed rapidly, very quickly, honestly. Most of the police scene, pretty much all, is cleared away here. When we got here, this is a look at Kresge Way. There was just lines and lines and lines of LMPD cruisers, St. Matthews cruisers, working to figure out what was going on inside this hospital. But Chief Barry Wilkerson with St. Matthews Police says that patient was confined to her bed and fired shots into the hospital. They do have that suspect in custody. We're working to learn more about maybe what led up to this, but for now, scene is cleared out here at Baptist East Hospital. Shannon, back to you.
Thank you, Kirsten. What we're seeing right now across the regions, a lot of these clouds overhead and some windy conditions. So the clouds are around, and those clouds are producing some areas of drizzle in some spots. The other thing that we're watching this morning, the wind gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. The wind will remain strong throughout the rest of the morning, coming out of the southwest, calming down as we head into the afternoon. We're in the 50s and low 60s right now. We will rebound into the mid to upper 60s for this afternoon as any drizzle across the region moves out. Clouds begin to clear. So overall, a pretty warm and comfortable day. We do have an alert day out for the second half of your Thursday as we monitor that potential for strong to severe thunderstorms across the region at that point. Really watching the 7 p.m. through 2 a.m. time frame for the best opportunity for some of these stronger storms.
Good morning, and thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. We're, of course, going to talk about more Olympics coverage. Marissa Burke will be joining me for that update, and then we'll also talk about some of our national headlines. But, of course, people are waking up to this frightening news of massive police presence at Baptist Hospital, where we've learned a patient fired shots inside of their room this morning, and Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote has been live there at the scene this morning. It looks like she's getting that shot set up right now, but I want to go live to Kirsten. And Kirsten, what do we know about this case right now?
Yeah, Olivia, St. Matthews Police Chief Barry Wilkerson tells us that they responded to a patient inside their hospital room. He says that they were confined to their bed and they fired 4 shots in their hospital room, none of them hitting anybody. Now, the scene when we got here, this is Kresge Way behind us here. It was lined with rows and rows and rows of police cars, LMPD, St. Matthews Police Department. They've cleared out right now, and it's looking kind of back to normal out here. They say that that suspect is in custody, but it's not clear what led up to that this morning.
And Kirsten, you've mentioned how drastically this scene has changed so far this morning. Can you describe, were there people coming up? Of course, waking up to this news has got to be frightening for those loved ones who have, you know, friends or family in the hospital, patients, even nurses and workers there. I'm sure very scared. Were they pulling up, trying to figure out what was going on here?
It was hard to tell from where we were because we were parked and we're kind of over in this lot across the street from Baptist Hospital, a little bit of a private lot. We got up here so quickly right after 7:50, or 6:50, I should say. And we came on the air to report the latest information. And shortly after that, things started to clear. And but there were people gathered. We were not able to talk to them, but there were people gathered. They were on, looking over across the way to the hospital. But once that, we saw that the police cars were kind of starting to peel off, we noticed those people peeling off too, presumably going along with their day. So there was a lot of onlookers, again, a lot of people over here in the parking lot, some traffic stalled, of course, too, and wondering what was going on.
And it seems like this was such a fast response and it cleared out pretty fast. Is that kind of what you're gathering there too?
Definitely. We got, we actually got an alert from LMPD. They had, sent us an email and they had said that their teams were clearing out of the way. And as I, looked up from my phone, I noticed, yes, they are. And so really it cleared out the huge police response. I mean, we heard sirens as we were driving along 64 coming here and followed them up to here. But within, I would say like 10 minutes, really everything started to clear out and just shows you how fast they got that situation under control.
And do we know if St. Matthews Police will be doing any kind of press conference to address this terrifying incident here?
Yeah, they haven't said anything yet, hoping that they do. They haven't given us any more information on if they will be doing a press conference today, but they are the lead agency in this investigation. So hopefully we can get some more information from them about maybe what led up to this morning and where the investigation will go from there.
So Kirsten, you've been on the scene for about an hour now. Is there anything else that we've missed that you want to add on?
I really can't think of any. I mean, it's really just amazing. I'll step out again just to show you this is a kind of looking like a more normal commute now. Really, all of the police cars that we were seeing, they are peeled off and looking like a normal day out here. But again, no threat to the public this morning here. They do have that suspect in custody. It sounds like it was someone, they said that they were confined to their bed. So again, not sure what all that means and what led up to that, how they had the firearm in the hospital or what was going on with that. But of course, we're going to work to learn more on that today. We'll continue following up with Baptist Hospital and St. Matthews Police to hopefully get some more information about what happened out here this morning.
All right, Kirsten Foote live at Baptist Health. Thank you so much, Kirsten. Glad everything ended up safely with no one hurt. Now, today, prosecutors are expected to call their final witness in the trial of Isaiah Page. For the past 9 days, they've been presenting evidence that they show he killed Bryce Gerlach during the 2024 Harvest Homecoming shooting.
Now, that trial has been going on for a few days so far, and much of that testimony from yesterday focused on photos and videos from Page's phone. A New Albany police detective testified the images showed Page was affiliated with a gang. During cross-examination, Page's lawyers say the detective couldn't point out facial features or any identifying marks proving the person in the photos were Page. Page's defense team also brought up another individual who was mentioned to police by 2 witnesses, but investigators ruled them out because there were not any physical evidence linking them to the crime. They argue the same applies to Isaiah Page. The trial is back in session at 9 o'clock this morning. There are no cameras allowed in court, but we do have a reporter there who is giving us all the latest details. DNA analysis has helped Indiana State Police solve a 39-year-old cold case. For 4 decades, no one knew why a baby boy was found in a trash can by a janitor in the Sisters of St. Benedict Marion Heights Academy in Ferdinand, Indiana. It's about an hour west of Louisville. Now we've learned the boy's mother will avoid jail time by taking a plea deal, pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter in exchange for prosecutors dropping the murder charge. The probable cause affidavit says the DNA analysis led the police to interview 56-year-old Alexandra Schurz Gawant last June. For a while, it was unknown who the mother was, but we've learned she was a student at the school in 1987. She told police she gave birth to the baby in a bathroom stall and left him in the toilet while she went to get a bag to throw the baby's body into the garbage. The body was later found by a janitor sorting through the trash. Gawant told police she had no plan for the baby. She was angry at the boy's father at the time and thought she would have miscarried. She told investigators the school called her while she was home on break after the baby's discovery, but she said she lied about knowing anything back then and then lied again to police when she was questioned after she returned to school. Now, under the terms of her plea agreement, she was sentenced to 6 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter. However, that time will be suspended to probation, which she will serve in Tennessee, where she lives now. Today, around 75 students from across Kentucky will address state representatives and senators in Frankfort. They're focusing on making Kentucky a safer, healthier place to grow up. It's Youth Advocacy Day at the Capitol. Groups of students are expected to highlight multiple issues, including bills to combat teen nicotine addiction. Kentucky Kids will present a detailed plan and timeline to lawmakers to protect minors from retailers who continue to sell nicotine products and to help kids struggling with nicotine addiction. Kentucky is getting $1.2 million per year from a Juul settlement, but so far those funds have not been dispersed for its intended use. Youth Advocacy Day begins at 8 a.m. in the annex of the state capitol in Frankfort. The House of Representatives passed House Bill 257, which would shift the state's accountability standards in education to a growth-focused model. The measure would modify the state accountability and assessment system in 4 significant ways. First, it would provide a reduction in state testing, such as focusing on writing evaluations at a district level. Second, it would change the state accountability indicator to track the individual growth of students. And third, it would allow the community to be more engaged in education. And finally, it would prioritize attendance in the accountability and assessment model. The bill now moves on to the Senate. There's a new partnership aimed at getting kids back in school and focused on their education at the Shelby Park Community Center. The partnership is with the Bookworks, a nonprofit helping middle and high school students who are not on track to graduate get connected to education advocates. They help find courses to make up missed credits and address chronic absenteeism. The partnership comes as Mayor Craig Greenberg has been working to increase early childhood education programs in the city. As Louisville continues seeing violence impacting teenagers, Mayor Greenberg says programs like the Bookworks partnership will create change.
All of this action is so important to help strengthen our youth, to give them more opportunity to pursue their hopes and dreams. That will make our city safer. It will improve lives. And that's why we're committed to doing this every day.
The Bookworks also has a neighborhood hubs at the Americana World Community Center Neighborhood House and the Smoketown Community Center. The Bookworks will be hosting an open house at the Shelby Park Community Center this Friday from 3 to 6. Simmons College of Kentucky will host a press conference this morning at 10 a.m. to make several announcements. Congressman Morgan McGarvey will announce an $850,000 federal grant to support renovations at Simmons College's Westover campus. Simmons will also introduce its first graduate of its Master of Science in Medical Science program. It's a historic accomplishment for the college as it graduates its first medical school graduate since 1912. The college will also announce the national programmatic accreditation of its teacher education program, marking another significant milestone in its continued academic growth. A new medical cannabis dispensary will experience will soon open in Western Kentucky. Kentucky Speakeasy Dispensary will officially open its second Kentucky medical cannabis location, this one in Nortonville. It expands patient access in Hopkins County and the surrounding region. A ribbon cutting ceremony will be held today with local officials and industry partners. The dispensary will be open to registered medical cannabis patients on Friday at 10 a.m. Well, what's the one thing that instantly makes you smile and it helps you forget about all your troubles? For me, it's cats, but for a lot of other people, it's dogs. In our latest What's Good story, Myra Ansari shows us how one man is cheering students up with his best friends.
Between exams, clinicals, and sleepless nights, nursing students are under constant pressure.
It's a lot. It's scary at times, but it's really rewarding too.
At Galen College of Nursing in Louisville, some of that reward comes from these two.
Very common for everybody.
Meet Henry.
Oh, okay. Henry's just a big love bug.
And Maisie.
You're beautiful. Maisie, the younger, she's very needy. They're English cream golden retrievers. They stay all day.
Right. They are quite the popular duo at Galen.
They just love coming here.
Jim Hack is the real employee here.
Henry looks just like their dad.
He's the senior facilities manager at Galen.
There you go. My main purpose is keeping the building look as nice as you see it here and now. Let's go. And
Jim loves his dogs. One day, he brought them to work.
this is what they love to do.
He noticed the students love them too.
They all ran over and they put their books down. They just start patting them. So that's why I go, this is kind of cool. That wasn't the initial intention. It's kind of evolved to that, right?
They are amazing, especially when you come in and you're really scared. Like today we have sim lab and that's so stressful. You have to go in and people watch you. And then the dogs are here and you're like, oh, it's okay. They make everything better for a little bit at least.
Maisie and Henry have made their roles official with ID badges. They know their way around campus. Make quick friends. They know what their job is.
If you're having a rough day, somehow they can just tell. You don't have to express it. They just know. And they're just there. I think that's the best thing.
For Jim, giving these future nurses some comfort is personal. His wife is a nurse, and when their daughter was young, nurses were there for his family.
My daughter, when she was 14, was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma. And it was a pretty hard diagnosis. And we mostly her, lived at Kosair Hospital off and on for almost 3 years. And while you're there, and you're there for extended periods, the nurses become your family. You laugh together, you cry together, and you get very attached to them.
Sharing Maisie and Henry is his way of saying thank you, even if the dogs leave some of themselves behind.
Okay, I have to talk about the obvious. The hair.
Well, yes. Well, you can tell. I buy the lint rollers by the case. At home, we call it, you can see, we call it golden glitter.
Yes, I definitely needed this. The students and staff don't mind one bit.
I love them. They always make my day.
A reminder of why compassion matters, not just for patients, but for ourselves.
Look at the little baby. What's your name? This is
No, they're so sweet.
Hi, baby. That's just what I needed.
All right, let's go, guys. Let's go. Come on.
They're just as happy to see us as we are to see them.
So Jim says the dogs have such a busy day at work that when they get home, they sleep very well. I'm sure they do, and I'm sure that means lots of cuddles for him too. We're going to take a quick break, and Marissa Burke will be joining me, and we're going to be talking about the Olympics. Stick with us. Thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I have Marissa Burke joining me now. We've got to talk about Olympics. And okay, you had asked me, have I been watching? And I said, of course I have been. Have you?
I've been glancing up at the screen here and there, trying to see how everybody's doing. And of course, we got to keep up with the medal count.
I know, that's the big one. I mean, whether you're watching the Olympics or not, I think everyone wants to see Team USA come out on top, right? That's the biggest part of it, like your pride in your country.
Right. And right now they're trying to play catch up because we have Norway and Italy who are in first and second. In speed skating team pursuit, Team USA got into the finals to face off against host nation Italy after they beat China by almost 8 whole seconds in the semifinals. Italy defeated the powerhouse in the Netherlands in the other semifinal race. Italy clocked a final time of 3 minutes, 39.2 seconds to beat Team USA in the final, winning by 4.5 seconds. Imagine that, neck to neck, down to the wire. The U.S. would settle for the silver medal, adding their 3rd Olympic medal in the sport since its debut in 2006. Just wow.
Yeah, it's still very impressive there, but we've got to talk about this. This is the most controversial medal of the day. Came in the men's free ski big air final where Team USA's Mac Forehand, he needed the run of his life to get him into the pole position, and that's what he thought he did with this run. And just watching that run, it is so incredible. He performed that trick. I'm sure you can't guess the name of this. Can you?
No.
Okay. It's the nose butter triple cork 2160.
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't. I could barely even say it once, but apparently it was a trick that's never been landed before in the Olympics until now. This vaulted him ahead of Norway's Tormund Frostad before he had his final attempt. And in that final attempt, he did enough to claim the gold medal over forehand. But of course, there's plenty of controversy here, outcry on social media, because they pointed out that forehand's trick was more impressive with more twists and turns. Let's hear from him.
I wanted to just go out there and do as best as I possibly could. And those are the 2 tricks that I couldn't have done anything better than that. That's like as hard as I could have gone.
So apparently he even contemplated with his coaches about what he should have done. They talked about doing this maybe, and then he got up there. He just said, yeah, let's go for it. Super hyped, went up there and landed it. So impressive. But I mean, to do that, only get the silver medal, still an amazing feat there. And I also have strong thoughts on this because you and I both keep up with gymnastics and the summer sports. And, whenever a gymnast competes on the international level and they do a skill that has never been done before,
right?
You know what happens to that skill? It gets the name of that gymnast.
Correct.
That's why they're the Biles 1, the Biles 2. They have a bunch of those. So I think they just need to call this the forehand instead of the nose butter triple cork 2160.
So Olivia can say it.
So we can all say forehand, right? So much easier.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And then there's still a lot more going on. Tuesday's competitions were also about setting Team USA up for success later on in the games. Like we said, they're still trying to play catch up. Team USA's women's curling team did just that. They were coming off a loss on Monday, but they took their frustrations out on Denmark after putting up 4 points in the 7th inning. Team USA went on to win by a score of 10-3. The 10 points was the most they've scored in a single game all tournament. Now, this win kept the USA in a tie for second with Switzerland. Top 4 finishers advanced to the semifinals.
And I can tell you, I did a lot of research this weekend. I don't know why about curling, because someone said, do you even know how curling works?
Do you even curl?
And I kind of sat there. I've been watching it all weekend and I'm like, I don't really understand how scoring works. So I learned a lot about it. And I can tell you that win, it was a blowout. And I learned a lot about the strategy on how you want to take it, depending on if you have the hammer or not, which would be the final toss of the stone. And trust me, if you want to do a deep dive into something like this, it is fascinating. And Kirsten Foote was there the other day and showed us just how hard the sport of curling is. It takes a lot of practice and it's harder than it looks.
They make it look easy because they do this.
Yes, they do. But now we've also got to talk about the men's side of curling because it was different for the men's team. They had 2 matches Tuesday, the first against China, then against Italy. So in that first match, the U.S. was winning 2-1 going into the 6th end when they were outscored 7-3. They lost that match 8-5. The second match really similar to the first. The score was tied at 2 going into the 6th end, and then they were outscored 6-3, dropping the match by a score of 8-5 once again. So the men's team now sits in a tie for 5th with Great Britain. That's not good for them because the top 4 teams will advance to the semifinals. So it looks like they're out there. So bad news for them.
Hey, they're trying their best, and they have to remind themselves of all the work that it took to get to this point. And it's like, it's still good.
Yeah.
You're still doing great.
Still a lot to be proud of there. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Marissa. We got to get you in on more Olympic action.
Oof, just not on ice skates.
Right. Right. Yeah, we've seen that. We have seen that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some of our national headlines. Well, the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, continues. And now a Milwaukee, Wisconsin attorney is stepping up in the search for answers, trying to put up his own money, $100,000 for that reward. Michael Hupe, president of Milwaukee Crime Stoppers, is offering an additional $100,000 on top of the existing $100,000 reward, which is being offered by the FBI. Investigators say more than 18,000 tips have already been submitted to the FBI in the case. Hupe says he has personally sent the reward money to Pima County Crime Stoppers and emphasizes that anyone with a valid tip can remain anonymous while still collecting the reward. It comes after the DNA on the glove found 2 miles from her home did not match any DNA from the National Data Bank, nor did it match the DNA taken from her property, but investigators say the DNA could still be the suspects. The National Transportation Safety Board has concluded a chain of errors led to last year's deadly mid-air collision between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet. The NTSB released its final report on the crash on Tuesday. It didn't identify a singular cause for the crash, which killed 67 people. Instead, the report blamed multiple failures that took place across different parts of the government, including the FAA and the Army. The report also listed 50 safety recommendations, most directed to the FAA. At a board meeting last month, the NTSB chair said the crash was, quote, 100% preventable. Still no end in sight for the partial federal government shutdown. On Tuesday, the White House rejected the Democrats' latest offer to end the shutdown. A White House official says the two sides remain, quote, pretty far apart, saying the Trump administration remains interested in good faith conversations to end the shutdown before Americans start to feel the impacts. Democrats want additional oversight of immigration operations before they will help pass funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Demands include having federal agents wear body cameras, remove their masks, and tighten rules around warrants for searches and arrests. That's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. I hope you have a great Wednesday. We're already halfway through the week. Have a good one.